If you want to look back on yourself 12 months from now and be completely unrecognizable to yourself and to others, or if you just want to make a couple incremental changes to improve your situation from where you're at today, this video is for you. I don't know about you, but I'm a little tired of the cliche motivational advice that says, hey, just think positively and everything that you want in your life is just going to fall into your lap. Don't get me wrong, I'm just as woo-woo as the rest of them, and I deeply believe in manifestation and the law of attraction, but maybe like me, you tried some of these things and they just didn't seem to actually work out for you. By the end of this video, you're going to understand how I personally went from making $14,000 per year, working 7 days a week, being barely able to make my own rent, to running a couple businesses that do 7 figures per year, and creating a life that has basically everything that I could ever want. In short, this video is going to be actionable, and it's all going to build towards the most important step, which is the 5th step, so make sure that you stick around for that. I'm also going to recommend another video at the end of this video that'll make sure that everything you learn from this video gets implemented without fail. The first step seems simple enough, but it's to figure out what we actually want. This might sound super simple, but I want you to actually sit with that for a minute because most people have never actually done that. I know that for me personally, sometimes I want a lot of different things, and it's because I think that I'm capable of everything. Especially in today's world of influence where we're seeing people have success and build these awesome lives that we think that we want, it's super easy to get distracted from what we actually personally want. Sit still for a second and meditate on this and think to yourself, if money wasn't an object, if I could be anything in the world, what would I actually want to do with my life? Your answer might surprise you. I want you to be super specific here and write this down. Make sure that you don't just focus on one single aspect as well, like I want a lot of money or I want a six-pack. Those are great line items, but that's not a full balanced life. What do you actually want your life to look like? Dream big here, anything is possible. A good guide that I like to go by personally is on Saturday or Sunday morning when you're free from the pressures of the work week. What do you spend your time doing? What YouTube videos do you watch? Where do you go? What do you consume? For me, this tells me everything that I need to know about what I actually want to be doing with my time. Step 2 is to figure out what you don't want. It's a lot easier to visualize what you don't want from experience than it is to visualize what you do want from your imagination. I love the concept of an anti-vision. In short, an anti-vision is the polar opposite of what you actually want to be, and I would argue that this actually guides most people towards what they actually become in life. For me, this actually gave me some of my biggest achievements and the best parts of the life that I've been able to build. My anti-vision looked a little bit like this. I don't want a 9-to-5, so I need to be an entrepreneur. I don't want to be an unhealthy, fat, alcoholic entrepreneur that works all hours of the day like you see a lot of the time, so I must value my health at all costs above all else. You probably have some sort of anti-vision in your mind already, so make use of that. Step 3 is to find people to emulate that have the results that you already want to have in life. If you really want to shift your identity, you need to start acting and existing in the world like the person that you actually want to become. If you want to achieve something that somebody else has in this life, you need to start acting like the type of person that's going to achieve that. To go back to my anti-vision, if I wanted to be an entrepreneur, I needed to start acting like one. I needed to start doing what entrepreneurs do. I needed to start figuring out how to start a business. In short, I needed to adopt the identity of an entrepreneur. If I wanted to level up my health, I needed to get my habits right. I needed to change the way that I was eating. I needed to increase my fitness regimen. I needed to get dialed in on my health and wellness. I needed to adopt the identity of an elite athlete. If you want to replicate this in your own life, this is what I would do. I would start following the people that have the types of results that you want to have. The great place to do this is social media, podcasts, YouTube channels. The idea here is to surround ourselves with content that are being created and put out there by other people. I mean, it's really amazing how connected our society is and how you can just have a window into somebody else's life and see what it is that they do, what they spend their time on, how they act, and see the people that have the results that you actually want to have in this life just putting this out for free. I follow top tier entrepreneurs that aren't just putting out videos, giving out business advice all day, but are actually living the type of life that I want to be living and are showing that part of their life. I follow top tier athletes and elite health people who have the type of lifestyle and the type of health and wellness that I want to have and replicate in my own life. All of the content that I want to be consuming every day is stuff that's going to keep me on track, it's going to build me up, it's going to hold me accountable, and it's going to motivate me to replicate the results that I'm seeing out there in my own life. The people that I follow on social media like Instagram, TikTok, the YouTube channels that I'm subscribed to, the podcasts that I spend my time listening to, the books that I read, they They all align with keeping me in the mindset of where I want to go, and I would recommend that you do the exact same thing. Put simply, I would unfollow the people that are putting out negative advice or bringing you down on social media, and I would follow the heck out of the people that are bringing you up and giving you value. Step 4 is the fun part, and it's to create a vision board. One of the most important things that you can do for shifting your identity is creating a vision board that visually represents the things that you actually want in life. This act of actually choosing and curating these things is acting with intention and actually setting a tone for the types of things that you actually want. This is also what's going to keep you motivated on days that you just don't have motivation. The motivation well is empty. You don't have discipline, but looking at your vision board is going to help you keep on track because it's going to remind you of your why and why you're doing the things that you're doing. If you're not familiar with a vision board, just put simply, it's a photo collage. It can be digital, it can be physical, and it's basically just a collection of all the things that you want out of life in the near term, in the future, and basically what you envision your dream life looking like. What kind of life do you want? What kind of car do you drive? What sort of house do you live in? Where do you live? What types of books do you read? What food do you eat? And so on and so forth. I do this all the time. Sometimes I just do it a couple of times a year. Sometimes I do it a couple of times a month because my tastes are changing. I'm obsessed with my vision. When I was first starting my business, I had my vision board literally everywhere in my office. It was on my phone, so it was my phone wallpaper. It was my desktop wallpaper on my computer. I even printed it off and taped it to the wall behind my desk so that when I was working those long hours building my business, creating my vision, I was reminded on the days that I didn't feel like doing the work, why it was that I was doing those things. There are some amazing tools for this that can help you make this into a tangible thing that you can make yourself. Canva is a favorite of mine. I use it for everything, and all you need to do is open up Canva. It's completely free. Type in vision board into the search box, and you can literally just drag and drop photos onto a collage that's already created. Pinterest is another good one. All you need to do are pin things that you like to a board that you create, and it becomes a scrollable vision board right then and there. Take a screenshot of that, make it your background, and you're already good to go. Apple also just released a new app called Freeform, which a lot of people are using to create vision boards. For using any of these, I would just search it on YouTube, how to create a vision board with your app of choice, and you're off to the races. Let me know in the comments down below what it is that you actually want out of life if you've made it this far into the video. I'm always interested to hear from you guys in the comments. Step 5 is to set realistic goals and to track them for accountability. Now it's time for some tough love. None of what we just talked about and what we just dreamt up is going to work for you unless you actually do what I'm going to talk about here in step 5. If we want to achieve the results that we want in life, we need to act towards them. Now we've set our intention, we know what we want, it's time to actually do the thing. It's also important to act strategically. Going from where you might be today to creating your dream life in the next 12 months might be possible, but it's also a little bit unrealistic for most people. I like to actually set realistic goals that when you break them down into actionable steps, almost automate your way to actually hitting the goals that you want to hit. I can say from personal experience that it took me literally 10 years of working day and night to actually create the life that I want to have. It's not going to be easy, but if you actually create the vision that we talked about earlier in the video and actually implement it and act towards it every single day, there's literally no way that you're going to fail. The first thing that we want to do is we want to break it down into realistic timelines. I think that a 12-month period is a great starting point, but it's also too long for most people to remain disciplined. I would look at what you can realistically achieve in a year, and then I would break it down by quarters. After you break it down by that, I would then break those quarters down month by month and then week by week. Essentially what I would start with is look at the next 3 months, break it down week by week, and exactly what it's going to take for you to hit your goal at the end of that 3-month period. When we write this down and break it down week by week, this is not only going to help you actually be motivated because you're going to see the actionable steps to hit that realistic 3-month goal, but it's also going to hold you accountable because once you start doing these things and once you're actually a week or two into it, you're going to want to continue your momentum because if you fall off track, you're going to screw up your whole 3-month period. There are all different types of apps, journals that you can use for this, some paid, some free. I personally love to use an app called Notion. It's just a great visual application with all sorts of different features that you can use. If you want to check out my personal Notion template that I use for tracking, goal setting, and habit tracking and stacking, I'll link that in the description down below. Feel free to check that out. If at any point you feel like you're falling off, pull up that vision board. Check out some of the people that you followed on social media earlier in the video. Feed off their energy and their momentum. This is what's going to keep you on track and keep you aligned with your why. One of the most important things that I also think is immensely important is a concept called gamification. It basically is a visual representation of all the progress that we've made, the momentum that we're building, and how we're actually getting closer and closer to our goal. I would highly recommend that you check out this video on the topic of how to turn life into a video game that I posted a couple of weeks back on my channel. This is one of the most important things when it comes to actually implementing everything that we just visualized and put together and actually making sure that we're consistently taking action on it and moving closer and closer to our goals with a visual representation of our progress. Make sure that you check that video out next. I'll see you over there.